हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ॐ नमः शिवाय ओम 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 नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So Bhagwan is concluding his teaching. He says that Ishvara is residing in the heart of all beings. One should surrender completely to that Ishvara and become free. Bhagwan says that I have taught this whole knowledge, given this knowledge, given this wisdom, which is very mysterious. It is the greatest secret. Unless it is revealed, one will never know about it. Because even after being revealed, it takes a lot of effort to comprehend it and gain abidance in this supreme truth. But without the guidance of the teacher and the scripture, one may keep wandering in this world without reaching the destination. All our objective experimentations, like what is done in the field of science, will not lead to this ultimate truth. Though science is also trying to understand the secret of this world, but the method which science is using will not lead to this truth. So Bhagwan says that I have revealed this to you, but since you are very dear to me, ishto sime dhrudamiti, so I will tell you the essence again. Sarvaguhyatamam bhuya shrunume vachaha. And Bhagwan says that in one shloka itself, Bhagwan gives the sara कि मनमना भव मद्भक्तः मद्याजी माम नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसे सत्यन्ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोसि मे. That you get totally absorbed in me. Manmana bhava. Let only my thoughts be there in your mind. Mad bhaktaha bhava. Become my devotee. Develop that supreme love for me. Mad yaji. Worship me. Serve me. And mam namaskuru. And namaskar. Do namaskar to me. Means surrender to me. And by my blessings you will become free, you will attain me. Mama eva aishyasi. Satyante pratijane priyosi me. You are very dear to me. So I promise you, if you follow this, my teaching, you will attain me. So Bhagwan is, Shankaracharya ji writes, कि सत्य प्रतिज्ञत्वम, कि भगवान is सत्य प्रतिज्ञत्वम. Bhagwan's pratijna, once he takes a vow, he keeps it. So it is Bhagwan's promise. In the 9th chapter also Bhagwan had promised कि नमे भक्त प्रणश्यति. Also in 9th chapter Bhagwan had promised कि those who are devoted to me, yogakshemam vahamyaham, I take care of all their needs and protect them. Even in the 8th chapter, Bhagwan had said, nahi kalyanakrit kaschita durgatim tata gacchati. One who follows the path of goodness, there is no durgati to such a person. So Bhagwan has given the essence of his teaching in this verse, but still, out of compassion, Bhagwan again tells the essence in this verse number 66. In this, Bhagwan really concludes his teaching by giving the essence of the essence. A very beautiful verse and very famous verse, which we should actually learn this verse by heart and follow what is taught in this verse. So let us chant verse number 66. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchah. We'll chant once more. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Bhagavan says कि sarvadharman parityajya, that give up, renounce all dharma. First we will see the literal translation of this verse. Sarvadharman means all dharma. Parityajya means renounce. Renounce very well all dharma and mam ekam sharanam vraja, and surrender to me alone. Mam ekam, to me and me alone, you surrender. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Then what will happen? Aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami. I will release you. I will make you free. Mokshayishyami. I will make you free. From what? From all the papa. Sarva papebhyah. From all sins. From all papa. I will make you free. Ma shuchaha. Don't grieve. Don't be unhappy. Don't have to suffer. I will make you free. See, Bhagavan has started his teaching from the second chapter, from the 11th verse of the second chapter. Bhagavan really begins the teaching, and that in that verse Bhagavan had mentioned कि अशोचान अन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासो न गतासोंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः. कि a wise person doesn't grieve. Hey Arjuna, you are talking like a wise person, but you are grieving. But a wise person doesn't grieve. A wise person doesn't grieve for those who are alive and those who are dead also. A wise person is one who becomes free of all grief. Means a wise person means one who has gained that self-knowledge, become free completely of all grief, and gains that supreme bliss. So Bhagavan had mentioned that one wise doesn't have to grieve, and here also he concludes by saying, hey Arjuna, you also become wise and you also don't grieve. So sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. What are these dharma which one has to drop? Shankaracharya ji writes कि सर्वे च ते धर्माः च सर्वधर्माः तान्. धर्म शब्देन अत्र अधर्मः अपि गृह्यते नैष्कर्म्यस्य विवक्षितत्वात्. That when it is said dharma, Means all, not only dharma, but even adharma, one has to drop and take refuge in that Ishvara. See, what is the meaning of this? We are actually holding on to or identified with our body, our senses, our mind, intellect, means the upadhis. We have seen these are called upadhis. The gross body and the subtle body are the upadhis. Due to avidya, avidya is called the causal body or karan sharir. Due to avidya, we hold on to, means we identify with our gross body and subtle body. Identify means what? We consider ourselves as the gross body and the subtle body. This identification is very, very strong. This identification itself is called adhyas. It is very strong. See, it is our experience that when we are in deep sleep, we are separated from the gross body as well as the subtle body. Means there is no adhyas with the gross body and the subtle body. In deep sleep, we are alone. It is like we have removed our dress, we have removed all the makeup, and we are just sitting with ourselves. So in deep sleep, I remain free from the upadhis. I remain in my own swarupa. Therefore, everyone without exception experiences supreme peace and joy in deep sleep. Because we have no adhyas, no confusion, no delusion in deep sleep. But this state doesn't remain. It never lasts. We cannot permanently go to sleep. We wake up from there. Because our avidya is not eliminated. So we are again brought back into this samsara. Just as when the whole world also goes into pralay, when the whole world gets dissolved, it remains as Brahma only. But the samskars are there potentially. So again the world gets created and all the beings are created and they have to experience their joys and sorrows. Similarly, we go to sleep, we experience great peace and joy, but our samskars are not eliminated. Our avidya is not eliminated. So in order to experience those joys and sorrows, in order to experience the results of our karma, we come again back into waking state and dream state. So that Atma, that is I, myself, am really separate from this gross body and the subtle body. I have no connection with them. The only connection is due to avidya. And it is so strong that even though I was separated from both the bodies, when I wake up, I identify with them instantly. Identify means I consider myself as this body. And when I consider myself this body, I also start considering the nature, the characteristics of the body as my own. So body is changing, so I say I am changing. Body is getting old, so I am saying I am getting old. Body is sick, so I say I am sick. Body is male, so I say I am a man. Body is female, so I say I am a woman. So the dharma, that is called the dharma of the body, the characteristics of the body, not the characteristic of me, the Atma. They are the characteristics of the body. And in Sanskrit it is called the dharma of the body. It is the body's dharma to take birth. It is the body's dharma to undergo change. It is the body's dharma to grow old, become sick. And whether we like it or not, the body will continue to express its dharma. Even when a person attains self-knowledge, the body doesn't undergo any change. The body continues to express its dharma. The body doesn't change. Suppose a person with a dark complexion attains self-knowledge, he doesn't become a person with fair complexion. The body will not change. Suppose an elderly person gains self-knowledge, he will not become young. So these are the dharma qualities, characteristics of the body. In the same way, there are these characteristics of our sense organs, our jnanendriyas, as well as our karmendriyas, and then there are those characteristics of our mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, and also of the 5 pranas, prana, pan, vyan, udan, saman. So those characteristics are called their dharma. And due to avidya, we hold on to this dharma thinking that they are my dharma. Activities are happening in the body, physical body, and I say I am doing, I am the doer. Knowing is happening in our buddhi, and I am saying I am knowing. Experience of joys and sorrows happen in our mind, and we say I am happy, I am unhappy. So I am holding on to the dharma of the body, the mind, the senses. And based on these qualities of the body mind, we are also classified as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So we hold on to ourselves as Brahmana, as Kshatriya, as Vaishya, as Shudra, as Stri, as Purush, as Brahmachari, Grahasti, Vanprasti, Sannyasi. These are all dharma only. They are all characteristics, not of the Atma. Never of the Atma. Atma is neither male nor female. Atma is neither young nor old. Atma is not the doer, knower, enjoyer. Atma is not Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Atma is not Brahmachari, Grahasti, Sannyasi, Vanprasti. These are all dharma qualities of the upadhis, which I am holding on to them due to my avidya, not recognizing myself as different from them. And this identification is, as I said, is very strong. It happens as though naturally. We just wake up from our sleep and we are identified with the body. But through the sadhana of karma yoga, upasana, and then through knowledge, that is gaining that self-knowledge and distinguishing, doing that viveka and separating ourselves from this gross and the subtle body, understanding deeply that I am not this gross body, I am not the subtle body, I am that Pratyak Atma, I am the Sushupta Atma, I am not this, I am not this. Neti Neti. So, one has to renounce this. Not that one has to renounce the body, but one has to renounce the identification with the body. And identification with the qualities of the body, both gross body as well as the subtle body. That is what is meant here by the term Sarva Dharman Parityajya. To achieve this is not very simple. One has to go through the whole sadhana. So Karma Yoga makes this bondage weak. Upasana further weakens it. And knowledge makes it more weak. Through self-knowledge it becomes very weak. And once it becomes weak, we can just surrender to Ishvara, that is our own Supreme Self. So Sarva Dharman Parityajya is dropping all this. That which is not I, that which is not the Pratyak Atma. And this is the first step, and once we are able to achieve this, then we can surrender to that Ishvara, that is Brahma, our own Supreme Self. We have to just surrender. Surrender means identify with it. Just be, because it is not something different from me. My Supreme Self, that Brahma, is not different from I. I am Brahma. Not that I have to become Brahma. Not that I have to do something to become Brahma. I am Brahma. So the more and more I drop all this dharma, the more and more I am able to surrender to my own Supreme Self. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. So these are the twofold sadhana. Renouncing and surrendering. Dropping and holding. There's a story about my teacher, Swami Chinmayananji Maharaj. Once he was traveling by train. He used to go all over the world, sharing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with everyone. And people used to, in thousands, they used to listen to him in all these Gita Jnana Yajnas. And they used to also interact with him, ask questions. So whenever they used to get opportunity, they will ask questions and remove their doubts. So once Swamiji was traveling by train, so a lot of people had come there to see him off. So he was about to board the train. At that time, one devotee did namaskar to Swamiji and asked a question. He said, I have a question. Swamiji said, okay, you ask. And he had to board that train. So just few minutes were there. So this person said, I have this question, it is troubling me. So please tell me. Swamiji said, okay, what is your question? He said that there is so much confusion about this Hinduism. So many gods, so many rituals, so many sadhanas, so many teachers, so many different books, so many mantras, so many things are there. It's like a supermarket. So I am really confused. So please tell me what is the essence of this Sanatan Dharma. Hinduism, that is Sanatan Dharma. What is the essence? So Swamiji was surprised that he said that this is not a very easy question which can be replied in a short time. What you have asked might require a lot of explanation. But since Swamiji did not have that much time, he said, I will tell you briefly what is this Sanatan Dharma. He says it is detachment and attachment. Bas. Detach from all that is low, all that is creating bondage, all that is giving sorrow, pain, trouble, and attach to that supreme truth. That is the essence of Sanatan Dharma. So our Gurudev briefly actually gave this shloka only. Sarva dharman parityajya is detachment, and mamekam sharanam vraja is attachment. One should learn to drop all that I am not. That is the first step. Without dropping, we can't surrender. So all our sadhana is to become free of all this. I am not this, not this, not this. Neti, neti, neti. And the more we drop, more we become free of all these upadhis, the more we will be able to surrender to our own supreme self. So in meditation, and this can be practiced at all levels, at whatever level we are. If we are at the very initial level, then we should practice this shloka, what is said in shloka, while following the path of Karma Yoga. So in Karma Yoga also we have to give up our raga dvesha, give up all our negative values and negative concepts which we are holding on to. Give up kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar. Give up adharma, give up paradharma. Give up kamna. Then as we become pure and start following the path of doing upasana, in that also we have to drop identification with the limited, our body, mind, And there are these upasanas wherein we can identify with the larger, like instead of identifying with myself in the sense with this individual gross body, I can identify with Vaishvanara. That is the first step in upasana, that instead of thinking that I am this individual body, you can think of yourself as everything, as the totality, as the sun, the moon, the stars. Why identify only with this body? Include the entire creation as your body. Because this body is also made up of 5 elements, so why separate it from the other 5 elements? Consider yourself as Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, the sun, the moon, the star. Ashtamurti Brud Deva Pujanam. This whole Sthula Jagat itself is that Devata, Vaishvanara. So identify with Vaishvanara, surrender to that Vaishvanara. If one cannot surrender directly to that Brahma, one can begin by surrendering to Vaishvanara. If we are able to achieve this, thereafter we can surrender to Hiranyagarbha, because the very self of Vaishvanara is Hiranyagarbha. So we can do Hiranyagarbha Upasana. Identify with Hiranyagarbha, surrender to Hiranyagarbha. Then we can do Ishvara Upasana, that Avyakta Upasana. Surrender to that Ishvara Avyakta. See, Hiranyagarbha Upasana and Vaishvanara Upasana is Vyakta Upasana. And Ishvara Upasana is Avyakta Upasana. We had seen this in the 12th chapter. And then finally surrender to that Brahma who is beyond all upadhis, Nirupadhik, Supreme Brahma, as our own Supreme Self, the Turiya Atma. So, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So, each one of us, depending on our own spiritual evolution, can practice what is said in this shloka. The more we drop all that is not me, and the more we identify with the real I, the more we will be able to move towards our supreme goal. So, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. And Bhagwan is there with us all the time, at all levels. Bhagwan is there. And he himself has given this promise. What is Bhagwan's promise? Bhagwan says, I will release you from all your papa. Aham tva sarva papebhyaha mokshayishyami. Means I will release you from all your bondage and give you that freedom, moksha. See, the root papa is that avidya only, because of which we feel ourselves to be bound in this samsara, because of which we are experiencing continuous pain, sorrow, suffering. So one will become free of this avidya and all the effects of avidya. That is the papa. Because of this avidya only, we have desires, kama. So avidya, kama, karma, and because of that desire, we perform different types of karma. And because of this karma, we are born again and again in different bodies, or we go to different lokas, and there we suffer the result of our karma. So all these are the expressions of papa only, result of papa. So Bhagavan says that I will make you free. You surrender to me, I will make you free. Means that freedom happens actually. When we surrender to Ishvara, we become free. Because our bondage is only in this avidya, it is not a real bondage. We are not really bound to this samsara. That bondage is nothing but a misunderstanding. So that misunderstanding gets eliminated and we gain abidance in our own Supreme Self. So sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyah mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. You don't grieve. Hey Arjuna, you need not grieve. Because that grief is not your nature. You are grieving because of your false understanding, because of this avidya only. So once you drop all this and surrender to me, you will become free of all the papa and become free of all the grief also, and will attain that supreme eternal bliss. Eternal. Never again will there be samsara for you. So this is the culmination of all the teaching which Bhagavan had given in this Bhagavad Gita. See, we have seen each and every shloka taking the guidance of Bhagavan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya. So what I taught you in so many days is based on mainly on the teachings of Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya ji, his Bhashya, his commentary, as I learned from my own teacher, as I have understood from my own teacher, and as I have also reflected and comprehended it, I have shared this with all of you. So whatever I said is in tune with Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, not only the Bhashya of Bhagavad Gita, but some reference I took from other Bhashya of Bhagavan Shankaracharyaji from the Upanishads and from other places. So I request all of you that you should not just give up, but should continue studying this Gita, and by taking the help of Adi Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya only. Otherwise you might get confused. So whatever is taught to you, the essence you will comprehend if you just read Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya. If you know Sanskrit, you can read in the original language, Sanskrit. If you don't know Sanskrit, then you can read the translations Translations are available in many languages. So just keep on reading, and since you have heard, it will become easy for you to comprehend. Never assume that you have understood everything. It takes its own time. So keep studying. Keep what you call a schedule. Every day you spend some time and just keep reading and contemplating from the beginning of this Gita, from the first chapter onwards. Keep on studying, keep on revising. That itself is a very important sadhana. Because as our understanding becomes more and more clear, automatic transformation takes place. I was listening to one Mahatma who was speaking about this word transformation. And he was saying that transformation is a very nice word. Trans means to go beyond. No? Transatlantic and all flights are there, which goes beyond the Atlantic Ocean, over the Atlantic Ocean. So transformation, he was saying that one should go beyond all forms, beyond all names and forms. All this samsara is nothing but the names and forms. So transformation is like going beyond all forms and attaining that Supreme Self. So one has to study it again and again. Then only it will enter our system and we will get transformed. Also another thing I would like to tell, that it is not only important that you study the text taking the help of the Bhashya of Shankaracharya, but at the same time you should avoid all contradictory contradictory interpretation of this. It is very important in modern times to focus our attention on the main text and the main thing which we have to study. If you try to listen to all different types of acharyas and study different types of text and try to understand different types of philosophies, the whole thing will get jumbled up in your head and will not be able to take you towards your goal. Shabdajalam Maharanyam. All the mesh of words, they are like a forest in which one can get trapped. So one should just focus. Even lot of these prakarana granthas, they have they are some of the definitions which are used in these granthas are not in tune with Shankaracharya's Bhashya. So when we read them, study them, all these prakarana granthas and other texts, we get jumbled up in our head regarding the definition of important terms. Somewhere avidya is described differently, somewhere maya is described differently, somewhere the pratyekatma is not taken into account, somewhere the karan sharir is defined differently, somewhere the important terms like vivek, vairagya is defined differently, the koshas are defined erroneously. So if you collect all this and keep them in the head, you will not be able to understand the teaching properly. So therefore, the best is you have heard me, so you can keep listening to these videos. They are available on the Facebook. I hope the Facebook people will retain them. So they are available on the Facebook, so you keep listening to this video talks, and also read this Shankar Bhashya, so it will become more and more clear in your mind. This book is available. I am having this Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, Gita Bhashya, which is printed in Gita Press. So the original in Sanskrit is there, and also the Hindi translation is there. But there are translation in English, in many of the Indian languages, and I think in some foreign languages also. Shankara Bhashya is translated. So also there are so many sites on the internet wherein you can read this Bhashya there on the net. So you find out and procure the book if you don't have it with you already, and study it regularly. Okay. Now, to give the gist of and the beauty of Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya, we will read some of the portion which he has written after this shloka. After this shloka which we have seen, Shankaracharyaji has written elaborately concluding the teachings. In so many pages, Shankaracharyaji has written a commentary giving a conclusion to the entire teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So we will read some portion. We will not go through the whole thing. You can read it at home. But some portion we will read from this concluding remarks of Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharyaji. And then we will, some more verses are there which we will study later. So Shankaracharyaji writes कि अस्मिन् हि गीता शास्त्रे परम निश्रेयस साधनम निश्चितम किम ज्ञानम किम कर्म वा अहोस्विद उभयम इति. So Shankaracharyaji says that let us now think. We have studied the entire Bhagavad Gita, so let us contemplate for some time and think what exactly is the main teaching of Gita. Gita wants us to be free of all our sorrow. That is what is said in the concluding verse also. Bhagavan says, Ahantva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchah. So Gita wants us to be free of sorrow. Gita wants us to be free of all our suffering and attain that moksha, and attain that supreme, what you call, bliss, eternal bliss. So this is the prayojan, the purpose. Then how does Gita think that we can achieve this? That we have to ascertain properly. Bhagavan himself is raising question that can we attain this only by knowledge, self-knowledge, or can this be attained, this moksha can be attained by karma, or can it be attained by combination of knowledge and karma? Jnana and karma samuchchaya it is called. So अस्मिन् हि गीता शास्त्रे परम निश्रेयस साधनम निश्चितम किम ज्ञानम किम कर्म व अहोस्वित उभयमिति. So is it jnanam, is it karma, or is it both to be pursued together? So the question is why there is this confusion? Kuta sandeha. So Bhagavan says there are these statements are there in Bhagavad Gita itself. So there are those statements which talk about only knowledge will help us. Then there are those statements which say that you have to perform karma. And there is also possibility of both these things can be done together. So Bhagavan says that yad jnatva amrutam ashnute. In Gita itself, it is said that you can gain that immortality only by knowledge. Again, it is another verse says that tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. That having gained this knowledge, one can enter that Brahma. So all these statements, ityadini vakyani kevalat jnanat nishreyasya praptim darshayanti. So all these statements, they convey that only through knowledge one can attain that supreme goal of moksha. But at the same time there are statements which praise karma. Like Bhagavan quotes karmanyeva adhikaraste. In the second chapter this verse is there where Bhagavan says that your adhikar is only on karma. You should never give up karma. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Your adhikar is only in karma. So don't give up karma, don't become lazy. Again, in other words, Bhagavan says, Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam. Therefore, you should do karma. You cannot give up karma. Iti evam adini karmanam avashya kartavyatam darshayanti. In this way, lot of verses are there which talks about the importance of karma and the duty. It is our duty to perform karma. एवं ज्ञान कर्मणोः कर्तव्यतोपदेशात् समुचितयोः अपि निःश्रेयसे सहेतुत्वं स्यात् इति भवेत् संशयः. So since both the things are stressed, knowledge also and karma also, so is it that both should be done together? One should pursue knowledge and one should pursue karma. That even if we gain knowledge, we should continue doing karma. And even if we are doing karma, we should simultaneously gain knowledge. So is it that karma and knowledge should go together all the time? One should never give up karma, even after gaining knowledge. So kim punaha atra mimamsa phalam. Evam, in this way, this samshay is there, whether jnanam is the path or karma is the path, or both jnana and karma should be performed together. So kim punaha atra mimamsa phalam. What is the use of this thinking? What is the use of contemplating in this way? Bhagavan says, Nanu etadeva esham anyatamasya param nishreyasa sadhanatva avadharanam ato vistirna taram mimamsyam etat. Ki one should know that yes, this is the sadhana which I have to do. I should be very clear about my sadhana. That yes, this is my sadhana. If it is karma which will lead me to the supreme goal, or is it jnanam which will give me that supreme goal, or both karma and jnana should be done together, it should be very clear. Therefore, this thinking is required. Then further Bhagwan gives the thinking, he discusses this issue and arrives at the conclusion. So this briefly we will see in our next class, and thereafter there are those shlokas which also gives the instruction as to whom this knowledge should be given, who is qualified to gain this knowledge, etc. So all this we will see in our next class. So tomorrow is Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday we will not have this class, and we will continue with this class from Monday. See, we had started this Bhagavad Gita classes from, as I said, from 21st April 2020, and we can conclude this on 21st April 2021 with Bhagwan Sri Ramchandraji's Janma celebration, Ram Navami. So on Ram Navami day, we can conclude this Bhagavad Gita classes. So I will take the shlokas which will come follow, and then briefly I will summarize the entire Bhagavad Gita also, and then we will conclude with a puja of Sri Ramchandraji on Ram Navami day. Okay, that is the plan of action. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and revise Bhagavad Gita. Read Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya. And we shall meet again on Monday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siyavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.